Okay. All right. Are we ready, everybody? Excellent. All right. Well, welcome. This is the December meeting of the Clark County Ag Commission. Time on deck is 6:04. I will now call this meeting to order. Okay. This meeting is both in person and in hybrid or in online. All right, I've got something to read here. Regular meetings and public hearings of the Clark County Ag Advisory Commission are held in a hybrid format with both in-person and virtual participation options for commissioners, staff, and the public. This will allow for safe participation by commission staffs, members, staff, and any citizen interested in attending. Sorry, I can't read tonight. For those of you joining remotely via computer, you should be able to see tonight's meeting agenda on your screen. If you can't see the screen and have joined by phone only, I will be announcing the agenda items as we move through the meeting topics. Members of the public and applicants that have joined remotely are attendees. Other event participants cannot hear your audio unless you are acknowledged by the commission chair or staff and are unmuted. Obviously, the agenda we're going to roll through here will be first the roll call, followed by the approval of agenda, approval of the November 19th meeting notes, general public comment, commission business, ag lands study discussion. By the way, this is under commission business, code enforcement discussion, and then we will have a section for good of the order, followed by an adjournment. I'll start with the roll call. If I could, Miss Zora Oppenheimer.
Here.
Amy Treasure. I do believe Amy had told me she was not going to be able to make the meeting tonight. Are you there, Amy? I don't believe she is. Ruud Vandersalm.
Here.
Holly Hansen.
Here.
Diane Dempster.
Here.
Mo McKenna.
Here.
Dylan Haggerty.
Here.
Justin Berger.
Here.
Mr. Kevin Dobbins. I don't see Kevin. Myself, obviously. Matthew Cornwell.
Here.
Isaiah Irish. I don't believe so. And Mr. Tyler Berenson.
Here.
Okay. Do believe we do have a quorum. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Okay. We have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I don't know who would oppose the agenda, but all right. Motion passes. Okay, meeting notes. I'll take a motion for the approval of the November 19th meeting minutes. By the way, just a reminder, please state your name when you make a motion.
Mo McKenna, motion to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Ruud Vandersalm, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Public comment. Now take public comment of any items outside of public hearing items. We'll begin with attendees in the room. If you please approach the microphone. By the way, my apologies, folks. We do not have a podium, which we have in the past. We do, however, have a microphone down front. If you could make your way down to the microphone, we can definitely hear you there. Thank you.
If you wanted to make a comment, now would be the time.
Yep. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Sold? Okay. Do we have any online comments? Commentators, I guess I would say.
I have checked everyone's mic that is online. There are no new people, and everyone has said they don't intend to make a comment.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. All right. Okay. Commission business. All right, we will be discussing code enforcement issues tonight. So we will have a status update on that project later this evening. Our January meeting, January 28th, will include a discussion of commission priorities and committee formation around specific areas. Our February meeting will include a presentation from community planning staff on the climate element of the comprehensive plan, which has relevance for agriculture. Okay. Now we will move on to the agricultural resource lands study discussion. You have before you draft recommendations for county council from the commission members. The small committee we formed, the subcommittee, if you will, that we formed at the last meeting has met twice, and I'm going to pass it to Diane, who will summarize their conversations and help us frame next steps for this conversation. Miss Diane?
Thank you. Small committee met and we talked about what some of the issues were that we'd be facing the county. And we were looking first at the ag land study and how it relates to the comp plan, and have some recommendations that we had made. There were several or three people commented to the commission with their first comments. It was myself, Zora, and Mo, and we looked at all of those comments and decided that probably the focus that we wanted to take was how we can benefit, how we can communicate with the council our priorities in relation to the ag study and as it relates to the comp plan, and that the other issues that we've talked about, especially economic development and regulation and some of the other issues that affect farming in the county, we would look at later in the year, probably March and after, when the county's done with the ag land, with the comp plan issues related to the ag land study. I think that's it.
Go ahead.
This is Mo. I'll make one comment. So I went through, I hope it's okay, subcommittee. I went through the draft statements and I rewrote them, but the content is very similar. But I'm sorry, I did it today. But I rewrote them in line with the RCW and the WAC. So to just change some language to make it more consistent with the state law. And I did reorganize some things. I feel like the content is overall similar, but I encourage everybody to look at that since I just did it today. And so it's been printed and it will be entered into the record after this meeting, but I do just want to call that out. Thank you. Thank you in advance for your grace that I just did it today.
So Mo, this is Bart. Just to follow up on that, and because you requested that to go to everybody, and we got it this afternoon. We did push it out to the commission, but when it gets pushed out to the commission, it also needed to be posted. It was a raw document. I apologize for not labeling it as coming from you. That should have been more clear. So tomorrow, when I have access to, with our web people, it will be very specifically identified what this was and when it came in and who posted it.
Thank you. And thank you to staff for dealing with the last minute. We all had storms today, and yesterday we got the full draft, and today when I was able to get everything up and running, I was able to do this. So I would just really appreciate staff and your time, especially given the bad weather that we had today. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Zora.
Zora Oppenheimer, which is which?
The one that's nicely labeled by staff, the agricultural resource land study recommendations, that's the original one that came out of the committee. And the one that is no label whatsoever, that's the one that I submitted today.
Thank you.
Do we want to give just commissioners a moment to read through items? Can we do that?
Yeah, and just to further clarify, there you also have the raw comments from Diane, Mo, and Zora. So you have their original emails, and then the draft recommendations are almost exactly cut and paste in just a different format, with the exception that Mo, I changed your language to we instead of I, since it would be coming from the commission. But other than that, there's no changes. So it's just reformatted. And then your document, I think, is included as well, but is different, significantly different than the original.
Can we give commissioners like 10 minutes? Is that too much?
You have 3. No, I think 10 minutes would be wonderful. Just to clarify, by the way, what I have heard is that essentially these two are nearly identical. However, one references RCWs at the appropriate place. Is that kind of it? Kind of, sort of?
And I reorganized things slightly.
Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead and take the next 10 minutes if we could to read through these.
It's 6:15. I'm going to mute then. If no one's going to comment during that time period, let me know if somebody wants to say something. Okay, it looks like everybody's had the time they need,
Okay.
so we can continue the discussion.
All right. All right. Now, I do want to say, because everybody knows me to be the king of linear thought. It's a joke. Let's keep the comments as of right now just to the propose or the, what do we want to call this? The proposal, the commission draft statements. I guess it says right there, the commission draft statements. Yeah. Comments? All right. Don't anybody rush to be the first one to comment.
This is Mo. Thanks to the subcommittee for pulling all of it together. I feel like there's a lot of work behind what went into this, and it allowed me to like kind of go. And I appreciate coming into a meeting and being like, "What do you all think about this?" I have a question for that subcommittee. So Justin, Diane, Zora, Matthew, do you feel like there was anything in the original draft that was sent out that I didn't capture or I captured incorrectly about, wait, Holly, were you on that too? Okay, Holly, that I incorrectly captured or that wasn't in the spirit of what you discussed as a subcommittee? Because I feel like we should discuss that right off the bat.
Oh.
Thank you, Zora. Subcommittee was Diane, Holly, Justin, Matthew. Justin Berger. We have 2 Justins. I'll work on that.
I don't think there's anything that you didn't capture that we talked about. I think that we, in the subcommittee, we were, had a lot of conversation about how we refine what it is that we want to do and make steps for what we can accomplish, what's the most important thing to accomplish when. And I guess I have a little bit of a question about today. Are we hoping to approve one of these documents that then we would share with council? Or, you know, what is the goal of this conversation? And I think that, you know, the only difference that I can see, the main difference I can see between the document that we drafted as a committee and your document, Mo, is that, you know, like you'd mentioned, your document is a little more legalistic and might be more specific than what we intended in terms of giving the council guidance or recommendations in terms of what we were hoping for. And so I think that, you know, I'd really like to hear from other commission members, you know, what we thought of the intent. And there are a couple things that I personally might, you know, sort of change, but I think that what we came up with in the committee was just that we want to give as much help to the council as possible in helping them with the comp plan and coming and going with our recommendations, you know, making those feasible.
Thanks, Diane. Would it be okay if I just respond quickly to Diane and then I actually do want to hear from other commission members too. So my thought for the purpose of tonight, and I think what came out of the last meeting as a group when we talked about this was council is really thinking right now about, and especially in January, it really ramps up, of them thinking about the 3 alternatives in the comprehensive plan. And I believe that what we've been charged with is to give council very specific recommendations about how the ag study should be viewed in that broader comprehensive plan. And that is why in my statements, I worked to fit it into the WAC and the RCWs that pertain to it. I think overall, this has been a very disjointed start to the Ag Commission because there's so much work that we want to be doing that's outside of this very narrow band. But I did go through the comments that you all made and tried to really think about what does the council need to hear from us now in viewing the ag study in relation to the full comprehensive planning process and the current DEIS. And that's how I tried to tailor it. Without council here telling us exactly what they need from us, I'm not sure, but I'm kind of making some guesses around that. And so it is a little narrower than what I think we would want to recommend going forward. And I'm excited to get to that work, I would say. I think we're all like, okay, let's do something else. But for now, I did take it in that spirit of trying to keep it in that narrow band of like how they're going to use the ag study within that larger comprehensive plan.
Are there any other general comments? Anybody? No?
This is Justin Berger. So in terms of the subcommittee, I do think it aligns generally with the sentiment or goal of the comments that were provided and some of the discussion. I will say though that, at the last meeting, there's some, I would say I disagree with some of the specific points. And my concern generally is that the devil's in the detail with what some of these recommendations mean. And what was discussed at that last meeting was wanting to make sure that we don't get sort of too far ahead of ourselves, providing like generalized recommendations where they could mean something drastically different. And one of the examples I'll give is in the incentives and conservation programs, it just says support conservation easements. Like, what does that mean? There's, I know in speaking to other farmers, some issues specifically with the way that conservation easements have been used. So it's not that I'm generally against conservation easements. I just think that there's a broader discussion that should be had about some of these items before we recommend them.
Sorry, go ahead, Zora. Yep.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Justin, were you referring to both of these drafts or one in particular?
Both of these drafts, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I was probably, do you have this here? No. I just was wondering in this, sorry, Justin, in the original one, the one that Bart had up on the screen. Yeah, that one. Thank you. Whereabouts was that located? That original comment about supporting.
I'm not sure if that was in the original. I'm referencing that in the second one.
Okay,
I can give an example that existed in both originally, if that would be helpful.
Okay.
Does it make sense for us to go by one and talk about them and see what we can?
Yeah, and actually, what I was I had an idea here. I think what I'm going to do is, if you don't mind, I think what I'm going to do is start with the subcommittee members, and I'm going to ask them if they have a preference, one to the other, and then see. If we could, I'd like to do this. Is our subcommittee members here? Diane, Holly, Justin, and was there a fourth? And Matthew, thank you. What I'd like to do is to ask you guys if you have a preference, original or revised, shall we say, and then any input as to which one won over the other. And by the way, to clarify, this is partly about, helping me because I was not here in November. And I thank you guys for excusing me for that meeting. And so, if there is a difference that is such that it, may change the view of the council, I'd really love to have your input on it. If you don't mind, if I could ask you guys individually to give input. Justin, would you mind starting off? Do you have a preference?
I do like Mo's. My preference would be for Mo's generally.
Okay.
I do think that it probably makes sense to go through each of the categories specifically and the points in them. I would say I'm generally aligned. Like most of the items I'm on board with. There's just a couple there that I'd say I have some issue with.
Okay. Matthew, if I could call you on you next, do you have a preference?
I would agree with Justin. I feel like Mo, in terms of 1 and 2, I feel like mostly I was all on board with. I think
Okay.
the details thing is what we talked about in the subcommittee.
Okay.
And just like what level of continuing encouragements outside of usage do we provide?
Okay. Diane, go ahead.
I don't think I have an exact preference. I think it would be great to go through the different items so that we can sort of talk about them one by one and see how they differ. And I think that the original document might be a little more general, so it might be easier for the council to deal with instead of the specifics. But in general, I'm pretty much in favor of both of them.
Okay. Miss Holly Hansen.
Yeah, this is Holly. I think I agree too with what Diane just said. I feel like Mo's is more of a edit, rough draft, edit, consolidate. It's to me more clear and less rambling. The only thing I would say is in number 4, it needs an edit. There's another I that needs to be changed to we. But other than that, I think it's really good.
Okay. All right. All right. Lauren and Bart, if you don't mind, what is the drop dead date that we need to, when is the council making decisions on this? I know ideally we'd want to have this approved at this meeting for presentation moving forward. Are they making that decision this month?
Well, not this month, but I am looking pointedly over at Oliver and Jose and Chris about drop dead dates because I can't answer that.
In January, the council is going to begin joint hearings with the Planning Commission on January 8th. That hearing set up to hear from the public on the preferred alternative. Then the Planning Commission will deliberate on January 15th, and they'll make a forward recommendation to the council. The council, I don't have the specific dates, but they're supposed to be finished with their selection of the preferred alternative by February 3rd.
Okay. Got it. February.
And our next meeting is January 28th.
28th or 19th was, no,
28th.
28th. Sorry. Oh, it was November 19th. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
picking up last month's
that would
date.
be the regular meeting date. We could again do a special meeting.
We could push it
slightly
forward.
earlier if you
Say
wanted
we.
to.
Yeah.
But-
So, okay, so let me ask you guys a crazy question. Would it be better to, let's just say we choose, A or B, doesn't matter for this sake of argument. And we present it to them today, or today, tomorrow, of course. And, they've got all this time to think about it before they make their final judgment in February. Or do we potentially, table this again? For us to decide, if we want to make a few more minor alterations, choose one and then present it to them in January, fairly close to their decision date. Myself, I'd like to present it as soon as possible. But I'd love to have other people's input on that too.
Justin's hand is raised.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Justin.
Yeah, I'd love for us to have the discussion today. I'm betting we're close. I think it's worth
Oh, yeah.
walking through the document and having a
Mhm.
recommendation.
If you don't mind, Diane was preparing to say something, and I'll talk to you, Chris. Go ahead, Diane.
I would encourage us to give them something today because I think they will need that as they move forward, the council.
Wonderful. Ms. Cook?
Thanks. If someone is going to speak to the council and the planning commission about this, first of all, don't skip the planning commission. Don't wait till February. That's a mistake.
Got it.
And I would suggest that somebody be ready to do that by the joint meeting on
Okay.
January 8th.
Wonderful. Thank you for that input. That's good to know. Okay. I suppose the next movement we can make here is what I'd like to do, if as long as the board would be in agreement, is how about we do this? How about we just have a quick words are hard today. Motion, or well, I was going to say, how about we just take a questionnaire of who, which draft people would prefer? Do we have a prefer, original or revised? Is that doable? Is that within the purview? Would we be able to do that, do you think?
Can I offer a hybrid?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this is Mo. I'd like to offer a little hybrid.
Yeah.
So in the draft that I sent today, the heading on number 1 and the heading on number 2, those are the statements from our last Agricultural Commission meeting, which we unanimously agreed to and voted on, word for word. And then I organized the other document kind of underneath it. What I didn't know, which is really helpful and makes total sense, is that number 3 was the encouragement and support for farmers ongoing was meant to be more general, with the idea that in the coming year, we're going to work those things out. And when I looked at those, I was like, this makes sense to organize those separately because they're things that actually are not super relevant to the comprehensive planning process or the DEIS. And so I wonder if we could get through, I would motion that we look at 1 and 2 from the draft that I submitted, and then we look at kind of generalizing the encouragement and support for farmers and agricultural economy, those statements, because I just think that those things they're not as time-based with the comprehensive planning process. I would, of course, look for Christine or Jose or Oliver to say, no, actually, we should make recommendations around these in the upcoming January session. But I just wonder if that's a way that we could tackle this that is more amenable to everybody.
From my perspective, this is Diane. My perspective, that would be part of what the committee would had recommended, because I think the economic and other aspects of this document will be more related to committees that we develop in the future that we really haven't started on doing, and would also talks more about the work that we want to do in the future. And we can get specific about those things in subcommittees on down the line. But the first two elements really address the comp plan and what I think the council needs from us now.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
And Mo, I move that we go ahead and talk about, well, maybe it's not a motion. Are folks okay that we talk about 1 and 2 of my draft? And then if time allows, we talk about the third category on the original draft. I don't know if I need to get a vote on that or not.
Mhm. Okay.
I think we should just do it. We should just talk about it.
Are you guys okay moving forward? Okay, so the motion on the table is,
Do we?
I don't think we need a motion
I think we just talk about it.
because there's no recommendation on the table yet.
okay, got it.
We're
all right.
learning here, people.
Right, right. So, of course, we're talking about just of Mo's draft, paragraphs 1 and paragraph 2.
Do you want to read it?
Sections 1 and 2, excuse me, yes. I was going to say, I
Can
can't
I
read it. I think.
make
I
a comment,
read it
or-
too. Go ahead, Zora.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
2 comments.
Yes.
So I know that these are verbatim what we agreed to in the last meeting, but I think they could use a little workshopping. And I made some suggestions. I am not married to those. We can make them whatever we want. But I think number 1 should be a positive rather than a negative. So not, instead of no de-designation, it should be something like maintain existing designation. I think, again, I'm not married to the ones that I put in, but it was maintain existing agricultural designations and then explaining. And then the second one, I really struggled after the meeting with just the phrase, the designation challenge. I was trying to identify what that really meant, and I was struggling with it. I think what we're talking about is a process for if I'm wrong, then that's fine. But so what I wrote was develop a forward-looking designation and de-designation process. Something, I think just something more specific than designation challenge. But that's all I got.
Oh, yes, go, Holly.
While I understand, this is Holly, while I understand what you're saying, Zora, I'm a little opposed to softening a statement. Positive is great, but I really feel no de-designation. That's the feeling behind what I have.
You're so negative. No, no, I get it. I studied marketing in college, and that's definitely a marketing thing, is, you know, to turn a no into a yes to, yep. But sometimes it needs to be a no. Do we have any other comments about this? Let me ask you guys, my original thought was to, shall we say, pick an A or a B copy, and then let's move forward with a motion to accept it as our draft statement, as our commission statement to the county council. I suppose what we could look at is that we approve sections 1 and 2 of Mo's draft God, I don't want to necessarily drop, or I wouldn't think of necessarily wanting to drop section 3, but do we have, could we then take sections, I'm just, kind of teasing here, take sections 4, 5, and 6 out of out of the old one and put in instead or something like that?
Yep.
Yes, no, maybe?
Mhm.
If somebody, and I don't know where to cut,
So on 1 and 2.
what's that? Mhm.
Number 3, I mean, 1 and 2 are the sections that the council really needs to hear about from us. 3 is a much bigger topic, much wider ranging going into the future.
Mhm.
I think if we try and tackle 3 tonight, we're going to get lost in the woods. 1 and 2 is what they really need to hear from. 1 and 2 is what we should focus on, make sure that is buttoned down. Number 3 shouldn't even be number 3. It should be another draft statement from us. I think, just my opinion. We got to focus on what they really need to hear on us from.
Right.
This is Mo. I agree with Rude. I'm curious if other folks have statements they'd like to make on 1, 1A, 1B, changes to that language.
Can I make one, I'm going to throw out a question, I guess.
Yeah, Justin, can you pull the mic in a little bit?
Sorry, this is Justin O'Day, WSU Extension. So I have a question about, 3B3, actually 3B2 and 3, farm transition and land access, and then incentives and conservation programs. Yes. So number 3,
Mm-hmm.
B,
Yep.
letter B. And then under those 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
farm transition and land access,
Mm-hmm.
and incentives and conservation programs. I was just wondering about the TDR statement and the PDR statement in there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that kind of jumped out for me, and whether or not those should actually be in 2, and if it should be even be more direct, like pursue the feasibility of transfer of TDR and PDR, or if is it, or maybe it's still too ancillary for.
I waffled on this, Justin.
I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see where it could live in number 2.
Yeah.
I landed on leaving 2 more general about researching best practices in Washington State, but I was curious about moving that up as a potential best practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What if?
Just because I know it's something that we can pursue. And there's a framework for it. Like, Washington State Department of Commerce has a framework for TDR. I know that for sure. And it feels very, very closely related to designation, de-designation issues, because it's a process that's
keep all this
very closely tied.
Fragmentation underused language. Good. So I know we're all, of course, learning how this commission works and stuff. And one of the things that I know is that as chair, you have to be careful because technically chairs, can't make motions and stuff like that. So I don't know if this is within or inside or outside of my purview as chair. But one of the things I was just looking at here, what if we kept section 3, but here's what I'm looking at there, folks, is what if we scratch subsection A, okay, keep all of B, keep most of B except for subsection B4. So we would scratch the strengthening the agriculture, economy, and workforce. And so it would just be Commission recommends policy and code review, farm transition and land access, incentives and conservation programs, and addressing fragmentation and underutilized ag lands. Thoughts on that?
I think that'd be a great idea. That sounds like a project we could tackle after the fact in
Yeah.
support of our mission.
Right, right. Yeah. This discussion, by the way, reminds me of what, if you guys didn't know what I was doing in November, was meeting with our Washington State Farm Bureau. We were having our state annual meeting, and one of the things they are terrible about is they want to make all of everything exact. And so I want to thank you guys for, being able to look at this and say, listen, all of this stuff is very important, but is it important within the realms of this document? Which, again, Farm Bureau can't do. Do we have more comment? Let's keep it rolling there, folks. Anything?
I had one more thought on number 2.
Yeah, Justin.
Sorry.
Pull that
Gotta
bad
get
boy in.
closer. Okay. Justin O'Day, WCU Extension. Number 2. And B2B3, develop clear criteria for designation. Was there anything to add there with regard to proximity to markets? And I know it could be fairly squishy, but I only say it because, in a sense, part of the justification that what it seems like it sits within the WAC right now is for de-designation is like the proximity to urbanness,
Yeah.
right? Yet people that are more direct marketing see it as
That's a plus.
plus.
Yeah,
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Or people that are doing agritourism.
Right.
That's a great thing. So is there anything to add there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Diane.
While I agree with you, Justin, that I feel like it might be a slippery slope because it could be dependent on what market you're talking about. And it could be that somebody ships overseas. So because they do that, they might not be close to, have access to a market, but still could be considered a viable agricultural enterprise. So while, I don't know, it makes me kind of nervous to add it, but it might be a good one. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also think that Clark County's a small county geographically, so it doesn't feel like it's needed. I mean, it seems like most of the county has access to markets
Mm-hmm.
if it's close enough, but anyway.
I have a thought on that. This is Mo McKenna. My preference would be to add it for 2 reasons. One, I think there's a strong push for de-designation based on proximity to urbanization. So I think proximity to local markets is a good counter to that. And 2, I think that the parcel size in Clark County means that the majority of growers and the future of agriculture in this county is going to be for local consumption, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we are, based on parcel size, we're moving towards a specialty market. Like, we're not going to have the big dairies of the past. I don't believe that we're going to have people growing wheat on 5 acres, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my sense is that it makes sense to keep it. Not that people aren't shipping overseas, but I do hope to see that we have and project that we're going to have more local market access.
Okay.
This is Justin again, WSU. I think you could probably designate it in a certain way that it would be like the farm illustrates that the urbanness, like the urban, that they're close, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but that the urban population is a major part of their marketing strategy, their market. It's something that could be proved and worded in a way that
Yeah.
could specify that, I think. Yeah.
I'd just like to make a note. I'd like to see something in there with the criteria that involves the ecological impact. You know, the green belts, ag land is excellent.
I'm sorry, Tyler, can you
Habitat.
speak up a little bit louder?
Sorry, the ecological impact, habitat, environmental.
Oh, habitat. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was that last little bit that I didn't get. Okay.
Ecological benefit.
Okay. 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 Well, I don't want to take away anybody's opportunity to speak. I mean, if anybody else has anything else to add, please let me know. But I am realizing we probably need to move this along in some way. Obviously, we would like to leave this meeting tonight with an actual, draft statement to submit to the county council. Are we ready to put together a formal motion and be ready to go with that? I know it's going to be a disjointed motion here, but
Chair.
Yeah, go for it.
Chair, before we do that, I'd like to clarify what that conversation that we just had, the resolution of it.
Okay.
We were still all talking in that sub 3 criteria area. And I heard some folks saying a pretty definite idea, and then some folks leaning away from it. And so we would need to all agree on, if you are adding language to the black and white letters in front of you, we would need to know what that language is.
Okay. I was hoping to capture that in a motion, but that's okay.
Is that the motion?
That was what I was hoping to capture. But,
okay.
But that's okay. We can do it this way.
And I had one other, and at the risk of opening up a different can of worms.
Yeah.
I mean,
go for it.
This is, so it uses the word criteria here. My naivete, Chris, Oliver, Jose, but I thought that's what the ag study was doing, was helping define criteria. So are we outside of our purview suggesting more criteria, or is that something that this group can do in good faith here?
This is Chris, and in my view, what this group does is independent of the ag study.
Okay.
So you can say you think the ag study is the greatest thing ever. You can say it has some deficiencies and you think it should be tossed. You can say you like it, you'd like to add something else.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. And any other comment, I guess? Okay, Tyler, you reached first. Go for it.
Okay. This Tyler, just to clarify on 2.3, develop clear criteria. Is that going to be our recommendation if the council implements the moratorium? Are those going to be our recommendations to how we identify and handle our ag designation problem? Our own personally, or our own set of guidelines for Clark County, I guess.
Speaking as the author and looking at all of yes, that would be my recommendation of how we would approach it. And I think that this is a place where if we want to be less specific, we could be. So if folks are like, actually, we're not ready to make a recommendation around that yet, I do feel like recommended actions being one, what other counties have done, could we could come back to that. I was really trying to just like encompass what the subcommittee had talked about and what I heard from this group previously about some of the things that we felt like were really important. I don't think we have to be specific in this case, but if we wanted to, we could.
Yeah, I agree with all the criteria. I was just wondering if that should be worded differently to say those are our recommendations for the council to evaluate.
Okay. Zora, you had something?
Zora Oppenheimer, I guess we just talked about a whole bunch of suggestions. Do we did anybody write that down?
Yes, I was over here. Now I am terrible about taking notes. I was the kid that never wrote notes down in school and that passed all the tests with A's and B's, but Mo did. Okay. And so so here's what I'm going to do. If you guys don't mind is, and we're going to skip the major sections here. Like, when we get to one, we're going to skip a bunch, but if we could, what I'd like for us to do is for Mo to go through her example here and work from top to bottom. If you guys don't mind, for instance, the title of point number 1, should we use no designation or should we use maintain existing designation?
I got it.
Yeah. Jump in when you need to. Okay.
All right. I'm going to do my best to summarize what we just talked about.
Okay.
Okay. 1, maintain existing agricultural designation, no designation of current agricultural land until there is a process for designation of agricultural land. This is my stitching together.
That is
Okay.
verbatim
Yep.
from the motion before. So I
Yes.
would prefer to keep that language than you would change what you've already voted on.
Okay.
We understand your
Chris-
preference, but there is
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
there's a desire to add, maintain existing agricultural designations. Okay, and then there's no changes that have been recommended thus far. And then point 2, develop a forward-looking designation and de-designation process that is compliant with the GMA.
Okay. Everybody got that so far?
Okay.
Okay.
Then we come down to 2B3, and we're adding a 7 and an 8. Number 7 would be proximity to local markets. And 8 would be ecological benefits. Then we're coming down to section 3, and this is where stuff really gets hairy. Hopefully I got it. We would still have encouragement and support of farmers and agricultural economy in Clark County. We strike A. And B, the commission recommends the following. Policy and code review remains. Farm transition and land access remains. Incentives and conservation programs remains, but number 1 only. Number 2, so this is 3.
B.
B.
3-2.
3-2 is struck. 3-2-4 is struck, and we keep 3-2-5. Was that as clear as mud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There is only one, I have one minor change here. Under main section 3, encouragement and support for farmers and the agricultural economy in Clark County. Instead of slash. I know it's very minor.
Can I also add a minor thing to that title?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in the minority, that's fine.
Sure.
Encouragement there feels a little bit patronizing.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
How about support?
How about we?
I love just support. That's great. But encouragement feels a little like,
Yeah.
go get it.
Is that? Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
you got this. And I don't love that.
There's a movie that encouragement. Yes, encouragement. Huh? Yes. Okay.
Oofda.
Yeah. Is anybody opposed to striking the word encouragement and just starting with? How about we strike encouragement and start with the word and support? No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Support for farmers. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Any last input on what we've come up with? Anyone speak now or forever hold your peace?
Yeah, this is Justin Berger.
Oh, God, Justin. Go ahead, Justin. Sorry, we're laughing at you. With you.
Yeah, sorry to be difficult. There's just a couple of things. Specifically on, let's see if I get this right. 3B 1B, residential size allowances on agricultural lands. I'll just say candidly, I don't like that one because again, there's nuance involved with that. I think one issue we face is multi-generational farmsteads and the ability to continue allowing everyone to live on that land. We already have rules that limit. We don't allow detached ADUs. Attached ADUs have to be less than a percentage of the square footage of the main home. So my concern is just, again, the nuance there and unintended consequences without the specifics around that one.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. Actually, I do want to throw this out there. I had actually looked at that and I've been waffling. Should we consider striking that I? So that'd be 3BI. And what I mean by that is just remove the entire policy and code review section. I think now that we've really concentrated down this section 3, it's the last part that it's like, I just feel that it just quite doesn't fit within this document. Comments?
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think most of 3 should just be scrapped. We've put a lot of time into 1 and 2. We're pretty well versed in that. Hence, we haven't argued a lot about it. We really appreciate the subcommittee's work in laying that out, and then Mo's work of distilling it and adding the wax and all that. But 3 is what we talked about near the end of the last meeting. And there's still a lot more to be added. And even to the individual things, there's a lot more to be discussed and talked about that the council isn't looking to hear from us on right away. So we can take the time, break these down, and really turn them into more like what we've got for 1 and 2, rather than kind of shotgun it here at the end and just tape it on.
This is Mo. I'm in agreement with tabling it. I want to get one clarification from staff. And then I do just want to respond quickly on the spirit of 3B, 1B. The spirit of that is to limit luxury estates on agricultural land. I think there's many ways to do this. I do think it's a longer discussion. Very supportive of ADUs, multi-generational living. I just don't want to see that our farmland is gobbled, like somebody is producing hay on a property and they have a 12,000 square foot estate. That is really the spirit of this. But I'm also totally fine with tabling it. I did just want to get feedback from staff on if there's anything in the current DEIS process or comprehensive planning related to cluster development specifically that we should be thoughtful about in our recommendations. Are folks familiar with cluster developments and how it impacts agricultural lands? And if not, I would encourage staff to advise us quickly.
I don't think there's anything in the current plan that's looking at amending the existing policy. And I don't know that the GEIS touched on it at all.
It's something that we could. So it's something that we could advise on later.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be done now.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Matthew, Food Bank. I also have been on the fence about 3 most of this time. I did like Justin's remark on, I'm gonna do the game, 3B, 3-1, and wonder if that can slot into the bottom of 2B in the between 4 and 5 range, just because it does feel like it has overlap with the actual designation process. And then if we can just make a concise paragraph of, after this process, these are the things that we want to continue to advise on, but not give any actual advice, if that makes sense. Like we're gonna continue this work and it's gonna be around these topics, but let's not make them lose trust in us because we start talking about things that are outside the scope and they disagree with those things that we start saying. Let's just nail that.
Okay, so I'm taking notes here. I'm trying to keep up. We're considering striking 3B1, 3B,
Yeah.
little 1. I'm getting some nodding.
Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. Let me ask you this: is there anybody that that is just adamant we've got to keep 3B1, policy and code review, as a section? No? Okay. All right. So I tell you what, if you guys don't mind, let's back up just a little bit here. Mo, if you could, what you had done previously of essentially reading through section C, or excuse me, section. We're only going to start at section 3 and read through. And folks, I understand that there's some people that would like to take a bunch of this and move it up into sections 1 and 2. That's wonderful. We need to have this ready to go tonight. So if you don't mind, I think in the name of, shall we say, expediency, we probably should better just leave it with 3. And of course, we're going to start with just support for farmers and agriculture economy. Go ahead, Mo, anytime you're ready there.
Okay, so section 3 would read, support for farmers and the agricultural economy in Clark County. And it would say, the commission recommends the following: farm transition and land access, incentives and conservation programs, evaluate the feasibility of transfer development rights would be under that, and addressing fragmentation and underutilized agricultural lands.
I think, Zora Oppenheimer, I think what Matthew was suggesting, forgive me or correct me if I'm wrong, was that we were hearing that people didn't want a lot of what was in 3 because it wasn't polished enough yet, but that the 3B, 3, 2, 1 transfer development rights was valuable.
Right.
And so we scrap all of 3, move just that one section into 1 or 2, and end the recommendations with a short paragraph saying something to the effect of, we know that there's a lot more work in the support for farmers realm. These are some of the things we're going to make recommendations on, but they're not relevant to this particular document. So you'll hear from us later.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. So where do folks want to see that evaluate the feasibility of transfer of development rights and purchase of development rights? Where is that going? Where is that living now? Just 6. Okay.
Okay. So 2B6. Got it.
Okay. So we're moving
Okay.
evaluate the feasibility of transfer of development rights and purchase of developments rights, PDR programs targeted towards agricultural land preservation. We're moving that to 2B6.
Okay.
And then are we scrapping the rest of 3? And we're just generally making a statement about agricultural, like, let me summarize. The Agricultural Commission believes that long-term support for agricultural economy in Clark County is really important, yo. I don't know what we're saying there, but something like that. It's really important, and we are going to work on it diligently.
I mean, yeah, I think it's recognizing that the cart came before the horse here, where we should have been doing 3 work before this work.
Right.
And so just to name, like, we want to do the work that we thought we'd be doing, but we're not ready to give advice because we haven't been able to do it. So like we need process to do that.
Okay. Don't everybody throw their hands up at once here. Who would like to draft that paragraph and hopefully draft it quickly here? Mo would like to?
Yo.
You know, when I was in the military, that was being called, that was what was called being voluntold. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Wait, Zora's working on it.
Zora's working us? Oh, you're due. Okay. All right. If we could, okay.
I have,
Would it be, sorry, go ahead. Yes, please.
I have a comment to moving that, let's see, what is it? Number 3.1. I'd like to add a statement that says, evaluate the feasibility of transfer development rights and purchase development rights. I would add, and other programs.
Great.
Because those aren't the only 2 that exist. And
I think there was a suggestion, Zora Oppenheimer. I think there was a suggestion to make that stronger too, not just evaluate, but I don't know who made it. One of the Justins.
It was pursue.
Pursue.
It's very actionable.
Yeah.
Pursue. I like that.
Okay. All right.
While I'm on the horn here,
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Justin O'Day.
I'm really hashing over that policy code and review B1, B Roman numeral 1 under number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what? I'm also trying to draft this, y'all. So if somebody else can draft a statement, what do you have?
So I think what you're getting at is really important, because what you're getting at there is trying to make sure there's a process in there, or there's some kind of criteria, or some kind of boundary to prevent people from gaming the system. And preventing these like very, defined designations. And I feel like it's important to have it in there. I don't have a say because I'm a non-voting member.
No.
But I was really hashing over that after we discussed it, because it was something that was coming up when I was reviewing the whole document. So, like I said, I can't make any motions or.
What is the?
I'm gonna throw that out there.
Sorry, it's 3.
It was 3B Roman numeral 1. We already kind of hashed through that, and I just was second guessing.
Right. No, I think we can all agree it's one of those things where it does relate. I guess, am I wrong in saying it does relate to what we're talking about here? But the question is this the time to bring it up to the council? As part of the.
I don't know.
Ag lands, the draft statement on the rural lands study.
It seems to me like that does definitely fall in line with 2B3
Oh, well, okay.
as what our criteria, our suggested criteria will be
Right.
for ag land designation.
Yep.
This is Zora. I think it also could fall under the TDR, PBR, because that's also policy and code-ish, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
The one thing I would caution you on in this related to the current use program is that it's a state program administered by counties. So the council really doesn't have much say unless they work with the state to get changes made at that level. So if you're really trying to target and focus on things that can be controlled locally, that might not be the best avenue at this time.
Okay. Are you coming on that there, Miss?
I feel like I'm getting close.
Okay, good.
Should I read it?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, I have a draft of our like summary. So this would be at the end of 2, right? Because we're moving everything up. We're striking everything in 3 right now, with the exception of the TDR, purchase and development rights, and other programs. And our summary, which is really what we're looking for, is the Ag Commission recognizes that the viability of the agricultural sector in Clark County relies on policies, code, and investment that supports agriculture. Look for more recommendations from us in the future. More to come.
Okay.
It's on the fly. I'm open to feedback.
I would just say, you say we're scratching all that. I don't think we should. I think we're tabling it.
We're tabling it.
Hey,
Thank you,
thanks.
Rude. Thank you. We're not
Good point.
scratching any of this great work. We're tabling it until
Go.
January,
There you
where we get to keep hashing it out.
2026, here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Does that feel like this, like what we're trying to say is like,
I think so.
we need policies, we need code,
Mhm.
we need investment.
Yeah, if we could read it one more time, please.
Okay. The Ag Commission recognizes that the viability of the agricultural sector in Clark County relies on policies, code, and investment that supports agriculture. Look forward to more recommendations from us.
Can we say something? We will be working on these rather than just expect
Yeah.
something.
I imagine we will be working on more recommendations in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will prioritize our recommendations.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. Is anybody opposed to adding that as a statement at the end of that? Number 2.
I drafted another statement.
Great,
I
please,
don't-
by all means.
I don't love reading, so I could text it to you, Mo, or I can read it. Okay. The Agricultural Advisory Committee or Commission, whatever we are, affirms its intent to continue this work and provide ongoing recommendations to Council consistent with the original design and purpose of the agricultural land studies. The Commission emphasizes that the conservation of agricultural lands must be paired with policies and tools that actively support long-term agricultural viability and a functioning agricultural economy. This includes continued considerations of mechanisms such as conservation programs that maintain land and agricultural use, support for farm transition and land access, strengthening workforce, addressing fragmentation and underutilization of designated lands, and more. The Commission offers these comments as part of an ongoing process and anticipates providing additional recommendations as this work progresses.
So much better.
Golf clap for Matthew. Thank you. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
No.
I think it's,
So good.
I think that's great. Matthew, were you an English major?
No.
No. Okay. Okay.
This is Tyler. I move we adopt that as our closing.
All in favor. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for that work on that.
Yeah.
I think that's fabulous. Let me ask you this. Does anybody disagree with anything Matthew said? No?
No.
Okay.
So good.
Okay. So here's where we're at, folks. I'm just going to hit the major highlights here. If I can look over at Mo's copy here. Okay. So here's what we're looking at doing.
Do you want to try to do?
Sure.
Okay.
Is under main section 1, we are going to maintain existing designation : no de-designation of current ag land until there is a process for designation of agricultural land. And then all of 1 stays the same. Down to 2, we are changing the heading to develop a forward-looking designation. Okay, and de-designation aligned by researching best. Okay, what does that say?
Process aligned with the GMA.
Best process aligned with the GMA. Okay. Anyhow, what Mo said. And then of course, nothing changes there until we get down to 2B Roman numeral 3. We are under the develop clear criteria for designation. We are going to add a number 7 and 8. Number 7 will be proximity to local markets. 8 will be ecological benefits. And then we get down to, what's this?
We're adding this. We're adding this at 2.
Yeah. Okay. So after 5, we go to, there will be a new Roman numeral 6, and that will be the paragraph that will now read, pursue the feasibility of or pursue transfer of development rights and purchase of development rights programs targeted toward agricultural land preservation and other programs. Okay? And then we will finish with the beautiful paragraph that Mr. Matthew Cornwell just read. Are we in agreement that that very well summarizes what we would like to present to the county council? Does anyone have anything to add, change, modify, or?
Now the time for a motion.
It may be the time for a motion.
Just one perhaps clarifying question.
Sure.
So
Go for
on
it, Justin.
adding to the designation, the proximity to urban areas, is there no concern that would have an issue with transfer of development rights, in the sense that would someone be prevented from doing transfer of development rights and selecting a more rural agricultural parcel and adding that as a criteria for designation?
I guess I'm not understanding what you're asking there, Justin. I mean, okay.
If we're saying that we're, as part of the criteria for designation of agricultural land is its proximity to urban markets, and someone wants to do a transfer of development right, taking something closer, say the parcel next to Costco, and swapping it out for something closer to Amboy, would that then, because we're adding that as a criteria, make that a hindrance to a transfer of development rights like that?
Go ahead. Anyone have any response to that?
It's just rude. I mean, as Clark County, we don't have a policy for transferring development rights. So I don't know if we're getting ahead of our skis a little bit with that. I mean, I see where you're coming from, Justin. I understand that. What you're hoping will never happen. That something years ago we did, and all of a sudden comes back to bite us. But luckily, Chris and the commissioners or the counselors, will hopefully distill this.
Justin, I'll make one edit. Just you were saying proximity to urban markets. The language that we've been talking about is proximity to local markets. And so I would think that if you have a vibrant local market in Amboy or in a rural community, great.
I would add, since I initially brought it up, I would add to that when I mentioned it, I wasn't envisioning that it would be, I was envisioning that it would be something that traditionally is a demerit of sorts, but could be used as a positive to have that option. So like in the case that you're talking about where somebody opts to rather be in a more rural area, you have that benefit. That's something that adds to your criteria that someone that's very close to the edge, so to speak, an urban edge, doesn't have. But they do have this other criteria that they do meet of their proximity to urban markets.
So perhaps to clarify, we're not suggesting that you must meet all of these criteria. These are just criteria that may be used.
Right.
That's what I was envisioning.
Yeah.
Yes, when I brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, Diane.
I would add that we take out the word local or urban markets and just say markets, because I don't think you get into a definition of what local means. And
I'd be amenable to that. Anybody have any opposition to that? Just proximity to markets? Okay.
People aren't going to think we mean like supermarkets, are they?
God, I hope not.
Okay.
Now, something I just thought I'd throw out there, folks, is do remember this is nothing but, we are not making law here, nor are we making policy. This is just recommendations. So, and please understand that doesn't mean that I don't really care. It's not that I don't care that this is, good, better, best, but at the end of the day, this is really just recommendations. So, yeah. Anybody else? Any other?
Like just final thought on the designation criteria. I feel like I've always pictured it as like a designation matrix where you have 8, 9 different things that you're scoring land based on, and based on its overall score, it fits within the specific criteria use. So it's not just like a down the list, you get every check and then you pass.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, true.
diagnostic criteria. It's each thing, like water should hold more weight than
Right.
market proximity.
Right.
And based on its total sum, that's the recommendation.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, if we could, let me ask you this. Do we think we're ready? Do we think we're ready? Yes, no? Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
Ruud van der Zalm, motion to approve the commission's recommendations to the council.
As edited or as presented?
As it currently stands.
Okay.
Diane Dempster, second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? I know that's all we've been having is discussion. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. I am certain that Lauren and Bart, you can, not that she has to be the one, but Mo was the one keeping diligent notes over here next to the kid that never took notes in class. So thank you. Please get together with Mo and of course, Matthew Cornwall as well. Yes, Zora.
I was going to abstain just because of my job, and I haven't had run this in front of my board as my position. So can we just?
Oh, did you vote and you were supposed to abstain or something, or I didn't catch that.
No, so you called for ayes, nays, but not abstentions.
Oh, sorry, I've never done that in the past. So, or anyhow, okay. Does anybody abstain?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I've never done that in a meeting prior to this. So anyhow, sorry about that, guys. Okay, moving along. Thank you, guys. Guys, thank you so much. This has been and will continue to be a big part of what we have done here in the first couple of months. Thank you for your hard work. Moving right along. Okay. All right. We are now moving into the section of the meeting where we would like to broach the topic of Clark County Code Enforcement. After having our executive meeting here, when did we have that? We had that Wednesday last week, I think it was, yes. Justin, Mo, McKenna, and myself, as well as Bart and Lauren, talked. And I think what we would like to do is this, folks. We would like to come up with, what did we say? Three to four, possibly even as many as 5 broad topics that we would like to present to community planning, which is where community planning is where code enforcement is under, correct? Is that correct, Bart?
No, our long range department is community planning. So community development
Community
as code
development.
enforcement.
Thank you.
And then
Sorry.
the fire marshal and building codes are their own separate entities.
Okay. Why do you guys have to make this so confusing? Yeah. I'm kidding. Sorry about that. Okay. Community development, of course, is the group that code enforcement is under. Bart, would you mind giving us a little rundown of what you kind of shared within our executive meeting, or if that's appropriate?
Just real quick, what I took away from that really good discussion, and I appreciated everybody's input, is from the initial, even before our first meeting of this group, and at every meeting in one way or another, the topic of various aspects of code enforcement and the application of codes and the interpretation of codes between properties has been brought up from a lot of different angles. And it's clearly really important to this group and a lot of other members of the community that this group seeks to represent. And so rather than being a top-down process where staff comes and speaks at this group, we were really hoping to just distill some core topics that everybody can kind of consensus agree on, and then staff with hopefully a new committee of 3 or 4 passionate folks about this topic then can meet and be the liaison with staff, because it's just a lot of voices if we try to do it all in one meeting. So those were the 2 things that we were hoping to get out of this. And if folks aren't ready to start that liaison committee here and they want to wait till after the first of the year, that's fine. But if we could get the topics and start distilling and researching, just kind of go around the group, that would be wonderful.
Sure. If you don't mind, sorry, this is just the way my brain works. Mr. Bart, since you're already on the computer there, maybe you could pull up a fresh Word screen or a screen of Microsoft Word or something like that. And as we, kind of yell out these, topics, maybe you could be our proverbial whiteboard, if you would. Would that be okay?
I think Lauren's been taking notes. I'm trying to manage the meeting a little bit more and watch
Thank you,
the
Lauren.
WebEx.
Okay, so folks, we'd like to keep these generally broad. I'll tell you this, is that we probably also should keep them from being, pointed or accusatory questions or statements. But I guess, can we just maybe start going around the room and start asking people if they have, questions or concerns, either themselves or other farmers or operators that they know that are having problems within the county.
Can I just add one clarifying
Yes.
comment here, is that we hope to hear topics and subjects that you'd like to hear about, not so much personal experiences or stories.
Sure. Okay. Anyway, go ahead there, Tyler.
Well, I'll start us off with the elephant in the room that we have discussed a little bit before, and that is building code for ag exempt buildings and use therein.
Yep. I guess the one that jumps into my head is there still a blanket exemption for ag buildings? I guess that would be my big ask. Is there still a blanket exemption for ag buildings within Clark County? Okay.
Yep. I think we need to clarify that and use therein. riding arenas, things like that. So.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
This is Justin Berger. So there's two, areas that I'd love to get more clarity on. The first is around ag exemptions, specifically just clearly documented. The first step is there an ag exempt permit that is required to consider a building to be ag exempt? And what are the legal steps required to consider something ag exempt? And then the second is around what policies, both written and unwritten, currently exist that impact enforcement. And I can give a specific example of why I'm asking this question. During the public meetings on rural events, there was a statement made that there's currently a policy that code enforcement does not enforce event violations for events they are publicly invited to or personally invited to. And so I'm curious, generally, what policies, not building codes, not written rules, but specific policies impact the way code enforcement is done in the county. So those are the two things that I'm most interested in. Thanks.
Okay. Lauren, did you capture those? Did you? Okay, good. Okay. I've got a question that I'd like to throw out, and I'll preface it by saying I'm waiting for somebody to, shall we say, strike this, only because it just has to do with historical precedent here. I hear now that in order to build an exempt ag building, a person must go in for an initial permit review, or must go in for an initial permit, and that was somewhat recently changed as county policy. And the question I have is this: is why? Why was sorry? Let me put this a little more succinctly. Why was it believed to be a good idea that all ag buildings must come in for an initial permit review process? Okay. Well, I'm sorry?
No, we've captured that question.
Okay,
So
thank you.
within that topic of ag exempt. Yep.
This is Mo. There was a committee, I don't know, 2 years ago on opening up event and agritourism to farms beyond just wineries, what's in the current policy. I actually don't have an update of what came out of that and what the current status is. So I'd love a current status on the ability of rural properties to hold events that are not currently a winery, and what the next steps are in that process.
I want to say it was called the On-Farm Event Committee. Justin, you were on that committee, I know.
Rural Events Center is what it was. I think. Yeah.
I know.
There's a county page on it.
Is there a county page on it?
Yeah.
What was the outcome of that? I know, and why is it? I think that Oliver and Jose, you guys were on that committee too, were you not? No? Okay. Because I know somebody that was on that committee too. So yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I could accurately summarize it on the spot here.
Yeah.
There was a general recommendation though to open it up.
Yeah.
To farms. Yeah.
Do we know if the policy is changed as a result of those recommendations?
No, the last I knew it was just a recommendation to council.
Oh, okay. So it'd be,
I don't know what's happened beyond that.
Cool.
I don't think.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my understanding too, is that whatever recommendation they came down to, the county never changed the code. And so the code stands as it was previously. So yeah. Go ahead, Diane.
My question, is there a right to farm law and is it enforced?
Oh, God, yes. So there's a Washington state right to farm law, and there's also a national right to farm law. Now, I do know this is that the national right to farm law, or at least the portion of it that I have, shall we say, committed to memory, and no, I don't have it memorized book, chapter, and verse, but the portion that I've always understood about the national right to farm law had more about just the operation of the farm. I don't know that it necessarily covered ag buildings or anything. I do know there is a Washington state right to farm law, but we'd have to research that a little bit.
Zora Oppenheimer, I have a whole list of questions which I can email, and they're natural resource based. Shocker.
Oh, are they natural resource based stuff?
Yeah, because they came from my staff. And they touch on a lot of what people are talking about. So ag permits, because we also deal with those with doing installations of things. And it is very opaque. Things like what kinds of activities in, riparian areas, streams often trigger enforcement on ag properties. What are common violations that occur on ag properties? And one that I kind of want to highlight is, would they be open to working with, this says Clark CD because that's where I'm from, but some kind of organization on shared public education materials or periodic coordination so that we can ensure consistent guidance. Because I have found that as somebody who speaks governmentese and should be able to find a lot of this information and distill it, it can be very challenging. And so I can only imagine what somebody who doesn't even know what they're supposed to be looking for encounters. So I think that would be a question that I have is, can we work together can we help translate some of these materials into things that are easily understood by everybody?
Sorry, I just had something pop into my head. It happens all the time this way. One of the things I would love, speaking of big questions, big, broad questions, one of the things I would love to be able to ask code enforcement and community development is, in enforcing exempt ag building code, what are you trying to accomplish? Or what is your broad goal? Does that make any sense to other folks? What is your goal? What's that, Lauren?
Can you just say the end of what is your goal in?
What is the ultimate goal of code enforcement concerning the enforcement let me think about it for a second and I'll get right back to you on that one. How to phrase that. Anybody else? I do admit I can think of a couple of farmers that aren't here today that I would love to be able to ask them, what they think. Yeah. I will throw this out there, Mr. O'Day, is that there's a handful of buildings that I'm waiting for them to find on the Heritage Farm property and have something to say about that. So I know it doesn't exactly, relate to you, but I'm afraid we're going to have to kind of just get this started and shall we say, table it and come back to it next month. Lauren and Bart, what are we thinking? If we had, tell you what if we created a subcommittee to hash out a handful of these, again, 3 to 5. I think we said 3 to 4 in our executive meeting. What if we came back in January? You said our next meeting is the 28th of January? Yes? Okay. Obviously, I'm going to take a wild guess that most of Clark County is probably not going to work very much between now and the end of the year. So when we get back in January, might be a nice time to get together. Do you think that'd be good if we came together as if we formed a subcommittee that met and then was able to present to the full committee, hey, here's our recommendations on, 4 questions to pass on to community development? Yes, no?
I think the first goal would be to see who's interested in being on that committee. And then that committee could decide amongst themselves when they would want to meet and whether that could happen before the first of the year or after the first of the year. And
Okay.
then that will drive the next step in this process.
Sure. By the way, I do have a follow-up here. Those even subcommittee meetings must be public and
Not if there's just 3, like when we did this
okay.
rules, because it's not a public meeting. If
Okay.
it's below.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Who would like to be on a subcommittee? I know. I would like to attend that subcommittee. Anybody else would like to be on that subcommittee?
This is Justin Berger. I'd like to join.
Okay, Mr. Berger. Anybody else? Go ahead, Tyler.
I'd join on that subcommittee.
Okay, Tyler and Dylan. Great. Okay.
That
I was going to ask you maybe if you wanted to reach out to our friend. Yeah, exactly. Let's see if he wanted to join.
So 4 would be the max.
4 would be the max. Okay, that's right, because we can't create a quorum, can we? Yeah. Is it 4? Do you happen to know, Miss Chris?
Well,
Is it?
13 if we're full.
Okay.
Quorum is
Okay.
Quorum is 7.
7. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So currently we have 4. We could do as many as 6. Is that correct?
Mm,
Yep. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good for right now. I think we'll hold a subcommittee with just the 4 members. Okay. Do we want to set a date for that right now, or do we want to hold off on setting a date? Yep. Okay. All right. Well, we need to hurry up and finish up this meeting here. We have our subcommittee set. We will be meeting probably after the first of the year. We have until January 28th to present that to the full committee. Okay. I'll be contacting you guys and we'll go from there. Okay.
Joe, can I?
Yes.
Jose, right
Yeah.
here.
Go for it.
Just a suggestion for your committee.
Yeah.
Think really hard about what you mean by ag building.
Yep.
And how you use it.
Okay.
Because I'm not a building code official, but I can know where this is headed. And I can answer your questions about life and safety. And it's really the public in these ag buildings, and the exemption is really because the public wasn't considered being allowed. And so that's where the concern is coming from.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. I do believe our next agenda item is essentially items that are for the good of the order. Does anybody have anything to present? Anything at all? Go ahead, Ms. Zora.
I would like clarification on what of our communication goes online versus doesn't go online versus. Can I have that?
is there an example?
Like the survey that we did, or, some of the suggestions that were emailed out. I run board meetings and we have a protocol, and it's very different than what I'm seeing. So I just want to understand what gets posted online for the general public versus gets just, dispatched internally or sent out.
I think it's contextual on what type of project it is. And what I'm hearing from you is that you'd like more clarification and more front end information, especially under that particular situation was not expected for you.
I guess if it's not clear, if it's not like this is when we do it and this is when we don't, then I would like, if you're getting our feedback on things, if it's really clear where that feedback is going. So, because I am going to write very differently if I know that something is being sent just to the commission members than I am going to write if it's going to be posted online. And I understand it's all open to public records. I know that, I get that. But a public records request is very different than something getting posted on the website. So I just want to understand for future.
Sure.
Thank you.
That is, we hear you. I see, Chris.
Be careful.
I completely understand public records. I get it. I've been working with that for 12 years. But I'm still going to write very differently in a casual email setting than I am for something that I know is going to get posted in a direct link online. So I just want transparency when we're being asked to feedback on something, where it's going.
Hello, Mo. I think this is Oliver. I believe the commission should choose who will be presenting your recommendations at the joint council and planning commission hearing.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Oliver. Yeah. Do we have any volunteers? Rude, would you like to present those? Okay. Oh, yes, please.
You need authorization by the group. So
That was, don't worry, Chris, I was kind of already thinking that way, but thank you for mentioning that. Yes. Okay, I would entertain a motion to allow Rude to present the recommendations of the Ag Commission.
I so move, Diane.
Okay. Do I have a second?
This is Holly. I will second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any abstain? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Rude, thank you for volunteering as tribute to present those to the Ag Commission, or to the council, I should say. A joint meeting of the council and the Planning Commission. Thank you. Okay, I think unless there was anything else for the good of the order, I think we're ready to adjourn. Does anybody have I would entertain a motion to adjourn? Yeah. Don't all go at once.
This is Tyler. I move to adjourn.
Okay.
This is Rude. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to adjourning? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you guys very much for a wonderful meeting.